So thank you so much for taking the time. I sincerely appreciate it. I'm a big fan. And coming on the weakest link, it feels like it's, there's some, I don't know, maybe some expectations when you jump into the show. It's got such a following. Did it meet your appearance there, meet your expectations, and kind of, what did you take away from the whole experience?
Yes, and then some. Oh my gosh. Being able to be on that show, I've watched it before. I've seen WWE people do it. I didn't want to be the weakest link. Like that is just, I think that's everyone's goal. The goal is not to be eliminated first, but it reminds me much of like my challenge days. Like when I was on the Real World and the challenge, like you eliminate people. And so you have to find friends, you got to make sure that you're getting everything right and doing everything right. And some of these questions, like you can't train for. You can't train for the weakest link. You have to train your entire life and just hope that the right question comes and you are able to answer it quickly, easily. And it's just very difficult. I mean, especially when you're going up against like the New Day, Big E, Xavier Woods has a PhD, Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, all very, very smart people. But I would like to say that I am very smart as well. I mean, I went to Miami of Ohio, the Harvard of the Midwest. I graduated Normandy High School with honors, president student government, senior editor of the yearbook, captain of 2 sports teams. So I think I'm going to do pretty well. I think my life has prepared me for the weakest link.
Now, and it's also too, I also feel like having, I don't know, I feel like having the entire New Day there is like a built-in advantage. Like, is that fair?
Think?
Yeah, is that fair?
It all depends on how they play it. It all depends on how they play the game. And so they could take over the game, absolutely. But I don't know if they know how, like my challenge days, all led me to being on the weakest link. Like, it's like, I know how to play this game and I just have to play my cards right to make it to the end. But if New Day is smart, then they could utilize what they need to utilize. But I'm not sure if they know that they have a hand in this game.
That's true. Also, I feel like there may be some built-in, is there some built-in animosity between you and Woods? Because you guys have gone back and forth a lot on Up, Up, Down, Down. There is
100%. There's always an animosity. He has all my titles. Like we have a competition where we play Street Fighter basically almost every year. Like every time a new Street Fighter comes out, we play it. And I always put up one of my titles that I have won in WWE. And he's got like, I think 5 of my titles. He's got my United States Championship, my Intercontinental Championship, my Tag Team Championships. I think he won my WWE so he's got all my titles. So I have to like keep putting up more titles to beat him. And so, it's not fun losing to Xavier Woods at anything.
And so that means this is the shot. Like this is
it.
Chance
this is my chance. This is my opportunity to take it to him. And I can do it. I know I can.
Also, I feel like it's safe to say that, even if you can't, make it all the way to the end or whatever, because it is a talented field, and you're right. It's all about the questions. You never know what's kind of coming your way. I feel like it's safe to say that you will make an impression, maybe deliver a one-of-a-kind moment that has never been seen on the Weakest Link. I think that's safe to say. I
am a person of moments. I always want to make sure that whether it's in WWE, on Monday Night Raw, if I have 1 minute of time or 30 minutes of time, you better believe there's going to be a moment in there that people will be talking about, because that's kind of what WWE trains you to do. If you want to be a top caliber talent and a main eventer in WWE, you have to learn how, no matter how much time you have on television, if you get 1 second, you better make the most of that 1 second. So no matter how long I am on Weakest Link, whether I'm the strongest link or the weakest link or in the middle or all in between, I'm going to make sure that I make a moment and that I was there, especially with such a great host like Jane Lynch. Whenever you can, test your comedy chops out on someone who is just so quick, smart, and just has a unique sense of comedic style, it's always fun. So I always like to test myself and see where I am in comedy.
No, absolutely. Jane Lynch is one of the best.
Yes.
Yeah, no one better. What was more pressure, trying to not be the weakest link or singing and dancing to DJ Scott's Fallen in Love? What was more pressure filled situation for you?
Geez, I mean, they're both pretty tough because they're so different. But I the weakest link is it's so fast. You know, you have to be, it's not just knowing the answer. You don't have time to rack your brain and think about it. You got to get your answer out as quick as possible, because if you take your time, that could mean, oh, hey, there's something that we could get you with and eliminate you. So you want to be fast, you want to be correct, and you want your brain to be on. DJ Falling in Love, look, you can dance all day. Dance with the best of them. I mean, you saw me on Dance with the Stars. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's no calling a friend on Weakest Link. So yeah, definitely. And people should tune in, because like you said, I think you make the most of moments. And there are definitely going to be some here that fans will love. I speaking of things that people love, I'm a huge fan of Miz and Mrs. Any update on maybe we getting a season 4? Are we getting a season 4? Is that something still in the plans at least?
Maurice and I are working on it. It's still up in there. We're still trying to figure it all out. It's tough because it's not just like throwing a show together and putting it on air. There's a lot that goes into putting a show that Maurice and I are very proud of, that we love. Every episode of seasons 1, 2, and 3 are available on Peacock, and we have put everything in those. Like, we made sure that, I mean, we were involved with the what's going to be on there, what the editing process, and we just made sure that we gave something that people like, moments, you know, things that a family can sit down, watch, and enjoy together. And we feel like we successfully did that. Now for season 4, there's just a lot that goes into getting it back up and on air and going. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, let's do it. Here we go.
Absolutely. And before we move on to some other topics real quick, you have obviously hosted a lot of Miz TV. You've been in movies, TV. Could we maybe see if like Jane has to go on vacation? Are you up for a Miz hosting duty on Weakest Link at some point down the line?
I mean, that'd be amazing. You know, as soon as Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak announced his retirement from Wheel of Fortune, I called my agent and go, I want it. Give it to me. And they were like, yeah. And then I saw Ryan Seacrest get it, and I go, that's a good call. He's arguably, I mean, he's honestly, let's put it like, between him and Nick Cannon, it's like they're the two best hosts out there, right? I mean, they are the ultimate quintessential host. So you can't be denied.
Yeah, no, good calls, but still, at some point, I think it's one of those things fans would love to see a game show headlined by the Miz at some point down the line.
You might. I'm not gonna say anything, but there might be already something in the works.
No. So one of the things you talked about a little bit before the draft was actually that you want to see the Intercontinental title kind of jump back over because it was currently on SmackDown, and then the draft hit, and that happened with Gunther and Imperium hopping on over to Raw. What have you thought of his reign? That's a title that obviously you have so much history with. In many ways, you're synonymous with. What have you thought of his reign and how he's held that title? And what would it mean to be the one to be able to knock him down and take that title back?
I think he's doing exactly what the Intercontinental Championship. I think he's doing with the Intercontinental Championship what exactly he should be doing with it. And that is making it relevant, making it prestigious, being involved in meaningful storylines, and making it like mean something. Like, I feel him with the title, he is at a level now where if he say drop that title, he's in the mix for a WWE championship. And that's what I always felt that title was supposed to be. Like, it was like not necessarily a stepping stone, but it was a title that literally builds you until you're almost like literally level with the World Heavyweight Championship. And then once that title is dropped, or you could even go and get 2 titles, the world title and the Intercontinental. So I think he's doing a great job. Who will unseat him? I mean, you got Drew McIntyre going for it, and that is a very viable person. I mean, I remember when back in the pandemic era, he was unstoppable in a WWE ring. Like no one could touch him except for me. I beat him for the WWE Championship, my second reign. But who's counting? And but Gunther's been doing a terrific job with the Intercontinental title.
Well, one of the other things too lately, I cover NXT every week for us, and it's been amazing to see so much talent from Raw and SmackDown kind of mixing it up with this new wave of talent in NXT. And it's been great to see some of the crossover there. Is there, someone that maybe has kind of caught your eye you'd love to kind of mix up with in the ring at some point down the line in NXT currently?
I think NXT is doing a great job of rising like to the occasion. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Whenever WWE superstars come down there, it's not like the superstars are overshadowing the NXT superstars. The NXT superstars are able to not only keep up, but sometimes you look at it and go, "Ooh, wow, this is pretty good stuff." So I think they're all, as a collective unit at NXT, doing a terrific job at keeping themselves, relevant and making sure that each show every single week has something captivating, innovating, and they're creating, their characters and making sure that people either booing or cheering. And, I think they're just doing a good job.
No, yeah, for sure. This one, a lot of fans came out in support. There was actually a full campaign when the opportunity to maybe be Johnny Cage came up. Now, I know it didn't work out, but how did you feel though, seeing such kind of that fervent fan support? I mean, there were campaigns all over social media about behind you for that role. Is that something
wow.
that like still feels good?
This question. This is the first time I've actually asked this question. So I'll be honest, like I really wanted to be Johnny Cage. Like when I saw the movie, the Mortal Kombat movie, I really liked it. I know there was a lot of, some people critiqued it. Some people said, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Like it just brought me back to my childhood. I've always loved the character Johnny Cage. And when it wasn't in there, I was like, oh, wow, man, I can't believe they didn't put Johnny Cage. And then at the end, you're like, oh, man, he's coming in part 2, like, episode 2. Yeah. And then with my name, like literally the next, like that. And when it came out, it was like a Friday. My name was like trending with Johnny Cage. And I was like, oh my God, like it wasn't like a bunch of people. It was like my name. Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I remember calling my agent and going, dude, I want this. I don't know what I have to do. Call whoever you have to call. I want this bad. And then I even put a campaign. Like I went out on every interview, and every time someone asked me about this question, I would say, I want to be Johnny Cage. I want to be Johnny Cage. I never got an audition, which is fine. I mean, maybe they just didn't see me as the character. And then I heard Carl Urban got it. And I was like, wow, like and people were like, are you mad? Are you angry? And it's like, I never get mad or angry when someone else gets a part that I want. I am fully supportive of a person getting, like, I imagine they're going to work as hard as I will work,
right,
to make sure that character is honed in, locked in, and is the character that the audience wants and loves. And I think Carl Urban, I've watched him on The Boys. I think he's a terrific actor. I think he's going to do an amazing job as Johnny Cage. And you better believe I'm going to watch it. Am I heartbroken that I'm not going to be Johnny Cage? Yes, of course. But that's the story of life. Like you like take your bumps and bruises. I mean, this is Hollywood. This is acting. Like there's one part. There's millions of people that want that part. There's one. And I didn't get it. So, and by the way, this happens all the time. So you take your lumps, and someday, some way, somehow, I will start getting into the movies that I feel like I want to get into, and start doing characters that I think are meaningful and that could make me into, what Cena, Batista, The Rock have all done. And but my goal right now is to be the best WWE superstar I can be. And I've been having a blast, with this new crop of like youth that WWE has. And to be honest, our shows at live events, at Raw, have all been sold out. Like WWE is so hot right now Cody Rhodes has been doing an amazing job and Seth Rollins as our two top baby faces, our two top good guys. Like whenever they come out, the crowd is electric. It reminds me of Austin and Rock back in the Attitude Era. Like you go to a WWE live event, it's sold out every single time a person's music hits. It's like an eruption. It's so much fun. So I'm having a blast right now with that. I know that was a long, drawn out answer, but I haven't really been able to even think about answering that question. I was like, oh wow, I've thought about it, but it's like you don't know how you want to put it into words because it can be misconstrued or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't want it to be misconstrued. Like, am I heartbroken that I'm not going to be Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat? Yes. Do I hope that Carl Urban and the crew at Mortal Kombat put together the most amazing Mortal Kombat movie and the most amazing Johnny Cage? Absolutely. Will I be watching it? 100%. I'll probably be the first person in line. And so, yeah, that's, I guess, kind of my answer.
No, yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. Can't wait to see what's next on the round. I know you got to get out of here. So, thank you so much. And I've seen the episode. And kudos on the podium because it's a great moment, and I think people will dig it when it hits. So thank you so much.
I make moments, man. I make moments. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.